Hi guys, and welcome to NDTV. You're watching our live broadcast here on various social media platforms that we often come in and chat up with you. Today, we're talking about a piece of news that has really shaken up a lot of people. This is the death of an actor who touched so many lives, and it's not just about the fact that he's an actor, the fact that he was so young, he was so fit. That seems to have struck a chord with so many people, young, fit people across the country. And that is something that Rohit and I will be discussing in the course of the next few minutes. Rohit, it's really shocking. It's still sinking in. And as we talk, as we chat about this, condolences are still pouring in. It's not just the television media in the industry, it's Bollywood, it's general people, it's Aam Aadmi like you and I wondering what went wrong to a 40-year-old fit guy who seemed to have been rocking it in life right now, everything going for him. And then suddenly we get this news.
Absolutely. Like you rightly said, he touched a chord, young, successful. He reached a place where people dream of reaching. He was doing the shows. People dreamt of being on those shows. He not only participated in Bigg Boss, he also won the show, the 13th season. And, there's a picture on social media going around where Salman Khan is lifting his hand and he's the winner of that season. He did Khatro Ke Khiladi, like you mentioned earlier, fit, an inspiration for so many people who want to become actors, come to this city, come to Mumbai, and then suddenly this rude shock that he's no more.
Yeah, and just looking at the life, Sidharth over there, he started out as what, a Gladrax model. I was looking up. So he's had a long career. So he was a model. He became a television star right after. I remember seeing him in one of Karan Johar's movies where he did a cameo and made an appearance. And then his biggest thing, which was the reality TV. He was in a dancing reality show. Then Bigg Boss, of course, is a major one. And then several other, some Khatro Ke Khiladi and stuff like that as well, right? So he was doing so much work. And it didn't seem like, so typically when a news like this comes in, people wonder what would have been wrong. Was he not in the right frame of mind? Is this a pandemic impact that it took a hit on his career maybe? But I'm just going through his social media feed right now. It's flooded with endorsements. And as soon as just a few days ago, he was uploading various, content that he was doing in partnership with these brands. He's constantly out there, very chirpy, upbeat. So this is not one of those reasons why. We don't know what really got him. The only information we have from Cooper Hospital is that he arrived there and he was not breathing. What happened underneath is perhaps something that nobody wants to speculate, not us at least. We definitely just want to go by what the report is and what the hospital doctors have to say. I believe the postmortem report is still not out, so we'll have to wait for that and see what happens. But such a sad loss to the family, to friends, and it's just, and even his pictures that I'm looking at right now, Rohit, him hugging his mom and sister after he won Bigg Boss. And apparently on the show as well, he kept talking about how close-knit he is with the family. And through the course of the pandemic, he loved spending time with them.
Right. He's a Bombay boy, lived with his family. We have a lot of visuals playing on our channel where you can see all of them at the airport together. Lived with them. So obviously was very close. Millions of hearts are broken today because nobody can come to terms with the fact that Sidharth Shukla, who is so fit, so successful, had everything going for him, is suddenly no more. Family has told one thing that, the family has confirmed that there was no mental health issue there. What I can also say that he was brought to Cooper Hospital at about 10:30 in the morning and he was already dead. So what happened, we will have to wait for the police investigation or the doctors or the family to come out and say, was he going through a medical condition? Was this a sudden heart attack from nowhere? Is this related to, anything that he was going through? But as of now, we just know of heart attack and we know sadly that he's no more.
Right. So, I mean, not speculating at all, but just looking at the life of this such a bright guy, really. And Rohit, I just want to take you back to one of the articles that he shared on his Instagram. Right. And I was just reading it, and so poignantly, he talks about how, he's actually one of those who's loving his time in isolation. This is a post that he shared, and he says that I love the fact that I'm finally getting to stay with the people I love, and I get to know them and be with them in these hard times. Then he goes on to reflect on work, and he says, yes, of course, it has taken a hit, but who am I to say this? Because look at the world around us. I should be the least of the person complaining. Very positive, right? Like saying that, and I mean, and so it's clear the family is also making it that this is not a mental health issue, then perhaps just a physical impact, which then is so scary for people like you and I, for people who are watching right now, for young in the country, wondering, well, when you have all the resources at your disposal, when you are young, successful, you're not just fit, you're a super fit guy, you have a body of a star, and then this is happening.
Right. And, even you were talking about a social media feed. I can show the viewers that his last post is also, for frontline workers, for it's hashtag the heroes we owe. This was someone who was of sound mind. This was someone who cared about people, his family, his fans. Wherever you see fans running to him, he will stop, take a picture, let them click a selfie. Who is not someone who will just zoom out from the car, very grounded, because he's seen it come to him one by one. So, someone like that, what exactly happened? In fact, I hope the authorities come to the bottom of it, and everybody should know, because this is really scary. 40 is way too young. And that's why the entire entertainment industry is completely shocked, and so is the media industry.
Right. And I guess it's come as a piece of shock to every individual and all the young people in the country as well, because he was such an aspirational figure, like you also said. His love life seemed to be, he used to wear it on his sleeve and very proud of it. There's a hashtag SidNaz online as well, and everybody's talking about it. And again, we really want to first give our condolences to the family and everybody who's around him who've been impacted by this. But Rohit, do you see this conversation? And it's not just Sidharth's case, right? Recent past, we've had several of the celebrities actually, we've lost them due to heart diseases. We've had a very unfortunate incident earlier of Mandra Bedi's husband. We saw the family that they left behind, and several other cases like these also coming into fore. Is this gradually sort of conversation becoming about how crucial health has become, especially in this pandemic time, and the attention being drawn towards how young people who might get a little reckless with themselves say like, oh, look at my age and, I can, do so much more. But we all need to perhaps go back and think about what we are doing to our bodies, what we are eating as well. That entire conversation has opened up now.
Absolutely. If the pandemic has taught us one thing, it is just that health should be priority. Nobody can say, I am out of this, I'm safe, nobody is safe. I myself can't say this. I had a heart attack just 2 months ago, and I'm not someone who's overweight. I take care of my health, I do yoga. So no, I'm just saying nobody can say that. Till everybody is safe when it comes to vaccination, nobody is safe, like they say. And here, when it comes to heart issues and all that, we don't know what's happening inside our body. So like you said, a lot of important issues have come out, like get an annual health checkup. But it's sad that every time it happens to a celebrity, we talk about it, and people remember it for some time, and then they move on with their lives and living recklessly, like you mentioned earlier.
Right. And I must say this, one of my observations through the pandemic has been that it's not just Bollywood and cricket and religion perhaps that takes drawing room conversations now. Health is becoming part of that conversation, and health of younger people now perhaps needs to be, more needs to be done about it, and more awareness needs to be driven by this as well. And perhaps in one way, at least, it's really sad, but every time this happens, I think people do stop by and take note on what exactly is going on. And of course, all of that is there. But just for benefit of our viewers as well, Rohit, right now, and please reflect on your experience as well, like you pointed out about, the time you went through and you discovered despite being absolutely fit, that it could happen to you. Just, I wanted to point out a couple of things and risk factors that one should keep in mind. If you're young and you think that this cannot happen to you, then you're wrong. So if you have the following risks that you're undergoing, please be mindful of the fact that you come in a vulnerable section, and you must go and see your doctor and get constant checkups as well. If you are somebody who's using alcohol excessively, if you smoke, if you have high blood pressure, or you have a family history of high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol levels, if you lack physical activity, something that has become a challenge for all of us during the pandemic as well. If you are somebody who has diabetes or has a family history of diabetes, if you're not concentrating on your diet as well, if you're doing any of these things, please understand that you are in a vulnerable section and a group of people, and you must be taking your health in your own hands right now and going and consulting your doctor to ensure that this does not happen. The idea behind doing this chat also, Rohit, is not to scare people that it can happen to anybody.
In fact, telling them the basics we learned in school. Health is wealth. You are what you eat. These are the things we learn and we forget, and we should never forget that.
Right. I think that's a great note to sort of end and conclude this conversation. We really hope our viewers at this point who are listening in get this basic message out of this conversation, that you've got to take control of your health and you've got to do it now. And if you're not vaccinated, again, just want to tell everybody, please go ahead and do that. The idea behind such massive losses is not to speculate. That shouldn't really become on what happened and what's the reason behind it and who's really, want to pin down the blame on somebody. But the idea is to learn from this and take your health, mental and physical, in your hand and take control of that. Any closing words, Rohit, please?
Thank you, Sonal. This was a very important chat. I'm glad we did this for the sake of our viewers. And like I said, just we were taught this. Remember the basics that you were taught in school, and never think that we are above some illness. It can come from any side. Like Sonal mentioned earlier, Mandira Bedi's husband, Raj Kaushal, that came from nowhere, surprised us. We spoke about it. We moved on. Today, it's Sidharth Shukla, and everybody's talking about it. So just make sure that you remember this and don't forget this 1 week from now, so that you take care of your health.
Right. And just because you're young does not make you immune to anything, really. You've got to be aware of that. Statistics all over the world are saying that Indians have weaker hearts now because of a lifestyle and dietary habits. Statistics also tell us now that the number of people who are under 40 who the heart disease is there, the numbers are actually going up. So again, this is not to scare you. Sure. This is just to bring awareness that this is happening, and you need to be mindful about that. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sonal. Thank you so much.